The galaxy's busiest starport hummed with activity, its sprawling docks accommodating vessels of every conceivable shape and size. Amid this bustling hub of interstellar trade and exploration, one ship stood apart. Sleek and mysterious, it rested on an isolated platform, shrouded in silence and curiosity. For centuries, the Starship had defied understanding, a technological masterpiece from an ancient, extinct civilization. Its intricate design was flawless, its systems untouched by time, and yet, it remained dormant. Despite the efforts of the galaxy's brightest minds, no one had ever managed to make it fly. The ship's enigma had become both a challenge and an obsession. Engineers from a dozen species had probed its systems, from plasma conduits to neural interfaces, yet every attempt to activate it ended in failure. Even the most advanced AI interfaces couldn't bridge the gap. Some called it cursed. Others believed it was simply beyond the comprehension of living beings. The Starship was a relic of the lost builders, a species whose technological legacy was scattered across the galaxy like fragments of a forgotten dream. When the human arrived at the starport, they attracted little attention. Humanity was still relatively new to the galactic stage, a species of late bloomers compared to the millennia-old civilizations surrounding them. They weren't known for advanced technology or exceptional intellect. Rather, they were seen as adaptable, curious, and a bit reckless. It was these traits that had caught the attention of the alien delegation overseeing the Starship project. The human, an unassuming pilot with a reputation for unorthodox methods, approached the Starship with a mix of awe and trepidation. Unlike the bustling docks nearby, the platform was eerily quiet. The ship loomed above them, its smooth, obsidian-like surface reflecting faint traces of light. It was unlike anything the human had ever seen, a perfect fusion of form and function, as if it had been crafted with an artistry that transcended engineering. The first touch was hesitant. The human's hand grazed the ship's hull, expecting nothing more than the cold, unyielding surface of metal. Instead, the ship seemed to respond, a faint hum resonating beneath their fingers. Lights flickered along its edges, subtle and tentative, as though testing the waters of this newfound interaction. Observers from the delegation watched in stunned silence, their instruments suddenly alive with activity. Energy readings surged, sensors detected movement, and for the first time in recorded history, the Starship acknowledged the presence of another being. The human felt it too, an almost imperceptible tug as if the ship were calling out, inviting them to go further. "You feel that?" the human asked, their voice barely above a whisper. The alien overseer, a tall figure with glistening scales and multifaceted eyes, nodded slowly. "The ship has never reacted this way before. You may be the key we've been searching for." The human hesitated. They weren't an engineer or a scientist, just a pilot used to navigating the vastness of space in ships that were far less extraordinary. And yet, something about this moment felt right. Taking a deep breath, they stepped closer to the ship, unaware of how profoundly this simple action would change the galaxy forever. The human stood at the threshold of the Starship, its ancient doorway now glowing faintly as if recognizing their presence. There was no need for a key or code. The door slid open with a soft, resonant hum, inviting them in. The air inside was still, untouched by time, yet it carried a faint warmth as though the ship itself was alive and aware. Taking cautious steps, the human entered, their boots echoing softly on the sleek, metallic floor. The interior was unlike anything they had imagined, an elegant fusion of technology and artistry. Smooth surfaces shimmered faintly, etched with intricate patterns that pulsed with light. It felt less like walking into a machine and more like stepping into a living, breathing entity. They ran a hand along one of the walls, feeling a faint vibration beneath their fingertips. It wasn't just metal, it was something more, something alive. As they moved further inside, the ship responded to them. Lights flickered on in their wake, illuminating a path through the labyrinthine corridors. The faint hum grew louder, almost melodic, as if the ship was singing to them. In the starport's control room, the alien delegation observed in stunned silence. Their instruments, which had lain dormant for centuries, now lit up with readings they had never seen before. Energy levels spiked, systems they hadn't even known existed were coming online, and the ship's neural interface, which had been impenetrable to their best AI, was now fully active. "This is impossible," muttered one of the engineers, their voice tinged with disbelief. "It's responding to a human?" The overseer's multifaceted eyes glimmered as they observed the monitors. "Not just any human," they said softly. "This one. There's something about them." The human, unaware of the chaos their presence was causing, continued exploring the ship's interior. They reached what appeared to be the control center, a wide, circular room with a single ornate chair at its center. Around the chair, panels and displays flickered to life, casting soft, multicolored light across the walls. The human hesitated, feeling an inexplicable pull toward the chair. "It's like it's waiting for me," they murmured to themselves. As they approached, the lights around the room grew brighter, the hum deepening into a steady rhythm that seemed to sync with their heartbeat. Tentatively, they placed a hand on the chair, and the reaction was immediate. The entire ship came alive, lights cascading through every corridor, systems powering up in a symphony of sound and motion. The human felt a surge of connection, as if the ship was reaching out to them, not just physically but mentally. Images, sensations, and thoughts flooded their mind, star maps of uncharted regions, memories of distant civilizations, and the overwhelming sense of purpose. This ship wasn't just a vessel, it was a guide, a beacon, and it had been waiting. Back at the starport, the aliens watched in awe. The ship's energy signature was now visible even from the planet's surface, a column of light piercing the sky. For the first time, the silent starship had chosen to awaken, and it had chosen a human to do so. The humans sat in the ornate chair, their hands brushing the smooth, glowing panels that seemed to shift in response to their presence. As they settled into the seat, a surge of energy coursed through the room. The lights pulsed in rhythm with their heartbeat, and a faint voice, not words but impressions, began to form in their mind. It wasn't alien or incomprehensible, it was warm, clear, and inviting, as if the ship were introducing itself. Images began to flood their consciousness, not chaotic but deliberate, as though the ship were weaving a story. Star maps unfolded before them, detailing regions of the galaxy untouched by explorers, dark voids that held secrets older than recorded history. There were visions of ancient civilizations rising and falling, thriving worlds that had become barren wastelands, and whispers of a greater purpose behind it all. The human's breath caught as a deeper truth emerged. This ship had not been created for war or conquest but for exploration and unity. It was a vessel designed to bridge divides, to carry knowledge and understanding across the stars. Its creators, the Lost Builders, had crafted it as a beacon of hope for a galaxy often consumed by conflict. But the ship had failed in its mission. The Lost Builders were gone, their legacy scattered and incomplete, and the ship had been waiting for a pilot who could continue its journey. A pilot who could see beyond power and technology, who could connect with its purpose not through intellect alone but through something deeper. "You waited," the human whispered, their voice trembling. The ship responded not with words but with a surge of warmth and affirmation. It had waited for someone who embodied traits it had been programmed to seek: resilience, curiosity, and an innate ability to connect. These were qualities that defined humanity, a species that had endured and thrived against impossible odds. The human's thoughts were interrupted by a crackling voice from the communicator. "What's happening in there?" one of the alien engineers demanded, their tone laced with both awe and skepticism. "Our readings show the ship is fully operational, but how is this possible?" The human hesitated, their hand hovering over the interface. "I think it's because of us," they said finally. "Humans. It's not about our technology or knowledge, it's about how we see the universe, how we connect with it." The ship wasn't designed for logic alone. It was designed for instinct, creativity, and emotion. That's what it needed. There was a long silence on the other end, broken only by the murmurs of disbelief among the delegation. But not everyone was convinced. "This is unacceptable," a harsh voice cut through. "A primitive species like yours cannot be the key to such an artifact. You must have tampered with it or it's malfunctioning." The human clenched their fists, feeling the tension rising. But the ship responded first. A soft pulse emanated from its core, sending a clear signal to the starport, a signal of calm, of certainty. It wasn't malfunctioning. It had made its choice. The chair beneath them shifted, and new controls illuminated around them. The ship was offering them a decision. It was ready to fly, to continue its mission, but only if they chose to take it forward. The human hesitated, feeling the weight of the moment. This wasn't just about proving humanity's worth. It was about taking responsibility for a legacy that wasn't theirs but could become so. "I'm ready," they said softly, their voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions. The ship's systems responded instantly, the hum rising into a crescendo as it prepared for its long-awaited flight. The ship's systems roared to life, filling the human's senses with a symphony of power and purpose. Panels lit up in a cascading array of colors, displaying star charts and streams of data flowing faster than they could comprehend. A deep vibration resonated through the ship, not threatening but exhilarating, like the steady pulse of a living heart. It was ready, and so were they. The human gripped the controls, feeling an almost instinctive connection, as if the ship had been designed specifically for their hands. With a deep breath, they activated the launch sequence. The ship responded instantly, rising from the platform with effortless grace. Outside, the alien delegation stood in stunned silence, their instruments struggling to keep up with the ship's energy output. The docking clamps released with a hiss, and the ship hovered, its hull shimmering like a star in its own right. The human barely had to steer. The ship seemed to anticipate their thoughts, moving in perfect harmony with their intentions. As it ascended, the atmosphere fell away, revealing the endless expanse of space. Stars stretched out in every direction, and for a moment, the human felt a profound sense of awe. This was what the ship had been built for, not just travel but exploration on a scale no other vessel could match. Data streamed across the displays, showing vast swathes of uncharted space. The ship wasn't just operational, it was eager, almost impatient to fulfill its purpose. The human could feel it in the way the controls hummed beneath their fingers, the way the star maps illuminated paths into the unknown. It was as if the ship had been waiting for centuries to stretch its wings, and now, with a human at the helm, it was finally free. From the starport below, the aliens watched as the ship climbed higher, its silhouette outlined by the glow of distant stars. The overseer's voice crackled over the comms, filled with a mixture of awe and respect. "You've done what none of us could. The ship, it was meant for you." The human glanced at the displays, their resolve strengthening. "It wasn't about technology or intellect," they replied. "This ship was looking for something else. Something we could give." The ship accelerated, its engines igniting with a brilliance that painted streaks of light across the void. The sensation was overwhelming, not just speed but purpose. The human felt the ship sharing its intentions, a roadmap of discoveries yet to be made. It wasn't just a vessel, it was a guide, a partner in a journey that could redefine the galaxy. As the ship streaked into the unknown, the human couldn't help but think about what this meant for their kind. Humanity, often dismissed as insignificant, was now at the center of something extraordinary. They had been chosen not because of their strength or intelligence, but because of their ability to hope, to adapt, and to connect. Far behind, the starport faded into the distance, a mere speck against the vast canvas of space. The human leaned back, feeling the ship's hum settle into a steady rhythm. For the first time in centuries, the ship was alive, its purpose reignited. Together, they would chart the unknown, bridging the past and the future with every star they touched. The galaxy, vast and uncharted, awaited. And with this ship, humanity would not just explore it, they would redefine it.